It's just to clarify how that's done. But Mr. Chairman, that's an explanation of the bill. I'll be glad to yield for any questions.
Any questions from the committee? Do I have a motion? Yeah, motion is title sufficient, do pass, committee sub. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Next is Senate Bill number 2422, the licensure of land surveyors. And this is a double referred bill to government structure, and it's Senator Johnson's bill. So I've asked him if he would to explain it to us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This came at the request of the licensure board, and they say they want to do some cleanup language, opening up the options for nominations to the board from just a single accreditation to multiple accreditations. They said that when the law was first enacted, that there was only one accreditation service, and now there's many, and so they want to open that up. And then it also, it doesn't change the board makeup, but it merges board language between the surveyors and the appraisers.
Any questions? Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So it adds available things to present to be qualified. It does not add something that would eliminate someone.
That's correct. So it just adds the more accreditations.
That are already available, the opportunity to offer them.
Yes.
Not an additional.
Currently, you have to pick from someone who is accredited from only this one place. And this would allow you to pick from people from that one place plus other accreditations that are available now.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Trying to move quickly. Will you show me in the bill, like what line do we add those accreditation? I just wanted to kind of see that language. Seems to be a huge bill here.
I may, if the chair approves, he may know it off the top of his head.
Who?
Mr. Clay.
Stephen, you're well recognized. If you can explain that.
Section 3, if you start around lines 180 over, right now, you can only be appointed to the board by the City Engineering Society and the City Surveyor Society. If that brings it up to other associations, offer recommendations to the governor and allows him to pick them. Current law says shall from only those two groups. When this first bill passed, like American Council of Engineering Companies might even listen. So now the book allow them to make recommendations to the governor.
Okay, so this is only affecting who can be recommended for appointment to the board, not changing licensures and stuff like that. Okay, thank you.
The gist of it was streamlining these. Right now, they're combined board. They would stay a combined board, but they're in two different code sections. So it's streamlining those into one code section to make it easier. Biggest change is the appointment process. Thank you.
Let me follow up with a question on that, Senator Johnson. I believe to be recognized locally as a recommender of that you have to be a part of a national group also. Is that correct?
That's the way I understand it. Yes, sir.
So that gives the local group legitimacy.
Yes.
Okay. Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize, but my question was not about the board composition. My question was about licensure for professional surveyors. Are we making it more criteria? Because we have a shortage of surveyors in our neck of the woods. It looks like we're opening it up. Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about that selection process, but no, it does not. It opens it up. I mean, I apologize. It does not make it more difficult, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, because I was just looking at 462 that minimum evidence satisfactory to be a licensure. There were several things listed. I think that's a good move, is that it appears we're giving experience value.
Yes.
Okay, that was my concern, is that we didn't add something that was going to make getting licensure and surveying harder. Thank you.
Other questions? Do I have a motion? Is time sufficient to pass? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Bill passes. Next is Senate Bill 2495, the Mississippi Credit Availability Act. This is being handled by Senator Parks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is, as he said, the Credit Availability Act. This has been in place for several years. It's worked well. This is extending the repealer for one thing. And then the second thing is it is amending to raise from 2,500 to 3,250, the maximum outstanding principal balance. Going forward, the banking department will be in charge of doing that based on the Consumer Price Index. The reason it is changing is because, as we all know, inflation has really hit retail goods and also the value of services. But I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Do I have a motion? Time sufficient to pass. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Bill carries. Next is Senate Bill number 2496, the Mississippi Earned Wage Access Services Act. When this was presented to me, I was thinking about when I was back in business, this would have been a good thing to have because it gives your employees an opportunity to get their money even more quickly than you have been paid. So it's a good bill for those of those companies that have lower wage employees who need their money more quicker. But this bill, what we're doing is making sure that this process, this application, is known as a financial product and not a loan, which it is not. It clearly discloses to each consumer all the associated fees that's involved in them getting their money. It offers a no-cost option, which means they can take care of the service without any fee to them. It's normally worked out between the company using it, the employer, and the company that's handling the application. It has all the procedure on a non-recourse basis, and it's there are no late fees, penalty fees, interest, and it's they have the right. The employee has the right to cancel the service at any time. That's basically the bill. But before we get into the bill itself, I'd like to offer an amendment that you've been given to number 2496, which says by deleting on lines 144 and 145, the following language should be added or should be deleted: a consumer reporting agency or. This came to our attention late in the process. Reason we're doing it this way, because there is federal law that the way the original bill was written would have been against federal law. So this was taken out. It was agreeable to all parties involved. And so I offer that amendment. If any questions about the amendment. Do I have a motion for the amendment? Move to adopt the amendment. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The amendment carries. Now, questions on the bill? Yes, sir.
I think I understand what the product is, but could you give an example of how the product will work?
You're glad to. Let's say that you are working and you get paid on a weekly basis. And after you work 2 or 3 days, you have earned that pay. This application will allow you to go to them. They will pay you your salary, what you've earned right now with overnight, usually. And then that will be subtracted from the pay that you would get on that 5th day. So it's giving you access to your money that you've earned more quickly.
Then there's a finance fee for the product, that whoever that company is. Is that correct? They're not getting it directly from the employer.
They're getting it from the company, but the employee pays no fee.
Okay.
Now, they can pay a fee to get it more quickly, but in general, there is a no fee.
Okay.
Other questions? Motion title sufficient to pass, as amended. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next is Senate Bill number 2498, subscription services, enact notice and acknowledge protections for consumers regarding such. Senator Johnson, I believe it's your bill. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this bill it allows for a person to receive a notice from a company that does an auto renew on your credit card or however it's set up. They're required to give you notice between 7 and 21 days before it renews to allow you time to cancel that renewal. And you have up until 10 days after it renews to cancel and get either a full refund for that time period or a pro rata refund for that time period. There's no penalty like fine for the company if they don't do that in this bill, which I don't know if that's necessary at this time. It does require, though, that they do refund you according to what the statute says. So my thought process was, instead of putting a fine in the bill, let's see if it becomes an issue, since we'll have it on the books as a law that they are supposed to refund, and we can always address that at a later date. But essentially, it allows for you to have notice if somebody's going to charge your credit card on an auto renew.
Okay, questions, Senator Johnson? Oh, Senator Edwin?
Yeah, so is this something like that's done in other states, or are we one of the first people? Like, is this nationally accepted? or
I
whatever?
believe we took some of this language from another state, so I don't believe we're the first ones. I think that other states have done this. This was just my own frustration with things that my children sign up for and I keep paying for. And so,
Getting to the root of it.
yeah, that's right. And so when I asked, when I asked for a draft, I believe council found this in other states and
And I'm fine. I don't have immediately any opposition. My only thing was, and if we can look at the other states, my only thing was, is this something that would cause products not to be sold in our state
to
or
your point, I
whatever?
always worry about that as well. And especially a state as small as Mississippi, where a large company could just write us off. But my understanding, and we can verify this with council, that he took language from other states to implement it into this bill. And so this is something that may already be in somewhat a standard practice in some states.
Right, and in the bill, what kind of notice is required? That could be electronic, or does it?
Yes, in whatever form that you agree on for notice when you sign up. And generally, that's email, sometimes text, but it's whatever notice you agree upon.
I understand, and I agree with your frustration, but there are certain services that I want to make sure we keep, and so
Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Senator Johnson, I'll say this, it's not just the teenagers. Us old folks are glad to see this too. Any other questions? If not, I believe we have a title sufficient to pass motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next is Senate Bill number 2507, the Mississippi Money Transmission Modernization Act. I am going to ask that Ms. Bridget Wiggins from the Banking and Finance Commission present this bill to us, because it's quite lengthy and confusing. And so I want her, since she was instrumental in writing it, to address us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill proposes to repeal our current money transmitter Question that any committee member-
Thank you very much. Questions, Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know it's a lot of information, but, and I invite you up so people can hear. Uh, are you talking about wire transfers? Or are you talking about electronic transfers? What kind of transfers are we talking about?
Like your Western Union, I'm sorry, Western Union, Cash App, Venmo, the traditional money transmissions.
But not wire transfers at banking institutions?
It does not affect banks at all. Our banks are currently exempt from the Money Transmitter Act, and that exemption would continue.
Thank you very much.
You're
That's what I
very-
was
very
curious.
Other questions? Senator? You got one?
No,
Okay.
I had the same question as Senator Sparks.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion? Have a, yes, motion title sufficient do pass, committee sub. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lee. Next is Senate Bill number 2508, the Mortgage Brokers and Lenders authorized to perform organization activities at a remote location. Senator Parks sponsored this bill, so I'm going to call on her to explain it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to start the explanation now. It's very brief, but this does not include our banks currently. This only is affecting the non-bank mortgage lenders and the mortgage brokers. We're bringing the standards up to date so that we are more in line now. There are over 40 states that have these. So that is the intent of this bill, and I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Questions of the senator? Do I have a motion? Motion is title sufficient do pass. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. The next is Senate Bill number 2839, the Workmen's Compensation Commission Revision Act. If you will look at it, this is I've always heard easy bill, and this really is. All it does is change the name of the commission from Workmen's Compensation Commission to Workers' Compensation Commission. I don't know how you could have questions, but I'm opening it to questions. I knew y'all are a bunch of. You really, okay. Title sufficient do pass. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Another report. Rise and report. Like it. Thank y'all.